Make sure your chair is facing where you have the back of the chair, towards your left side. Okay, and now bring your legs a little bit wider than hip width. Place your left hand on the chair and take your right arm up and overhead. So you'll just take a few sweeping circles to warm up the shoulder girdle as well as through your rib basket. And you can just use the chair as an ability to push down and create an anchored sense in your legs. And now reach back behind you, turn your palm up, take your arm up overhead, and now take your arm down, turn your thumb in, and turn your palm up when you bring your arm back and overhead. So you'll create a full rotation through your shoulders. Internally rotate as you take your arm back, and externally rotate so you turn your palm and your arm out. And so that these movements aren't just, big circles, but you're getting the whole range of motion. And now start to add your ribs. So as you go down, round your spine, take your thumb down, and as you turn, rotate, lift your chest, take your arm back and up. So you begin to feel how everything's connected through your ribs, your shoulders, and then come to center. Find your chair. You can turn the other way or squat down and move your chair so that you can see. And then again, legs wide. Take your left arm up overhead now, side bend, and take your arm down, thumb turns in, move your arm back, turn your palm up and overhead. So you're getting here flexion, and then some rotation, and then extension, and let your neck be free, and move slowly so that you can almost scan your body of any places, spaces that really need your attention today. I'm even getting some micro adjustments by moving slow. And twice more, just like that. And let your breath just be natural and full. Waking up your entire lung space and your ribs. And come to center. If you moved your chair, you can move it back. Okay, and we'll work with some rib isolations. So stand a little bit away from your chair and take your left hand down. Reach towards and over the chair, so you go past the chair and now go back. And reach over the chair and back. And so you really want to squeeze your legs in. You might even need to bring them together, but hug as if you were hugging a block and come back in. Take your right arm up, palm facing back. And as you take your right arm down, draw your shoulder back and lean left. Come to center, left arm comes down and right arm comes up. Pull your right arm down, shoulder back, left arm out, but lean from your ribs, not your hips. And come back up, palm faces back. And so we're trying to isolate. Now go towards the right and to center. Isolate and articulate the areas of your spine through the middle section. So that's your thoracic spine. And then the space between your ribs, your intercostals. And what happens is that oftentimes we really freeze up in this area, so breathing is challenging. And the way that I teach the therapeutics is, breath especially is a major component of healing. Go a few more times, reaching. Make sure your neck stays long and free. You're not pulling up on your neck to do the reach. And come to center. Let your arms fall and shake them out. Notice how you're maybe naturally wanting or desiring to take a deeper breath as we move in that way. Okay, same thing, other side, squat down to move your chair or just turn around. Again, make your legs strong, hug your legs in, reach your right arm out, and go past your chair. Almost like you're gonna reach to the wall on the other side. The chair just gives you a marker that you're going past that line, but not moving from your ribs, right from your rib basket and your thorax. Now take your left hand up, palm faces back, reach and pull. So it's almost like you're creating a pulley system. And come down, right arm down, left arm up and stretch. Pull down and reach, articulate and isolate. Up. And this is also a really good practice for your brain. Remember patting your head and rubbing your stomach, right? So it's like that, where you're moving all these different areas in opposition to each other. So your brain has to wake up a bit too. Reach more left and more right. Squeeze your legs. Go all the way to as far as you can, as if you could touch the wall, neck staying long and free. Last time, reach. And come to center, stretch both arms up. Squeeze your hands, your wrists, your fists, your arms, your legs, your belly. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And relax and shake everything out. Give yourself a nice good bounce. Shake. And again, one more time, we call this pandiculation. So you reach up, squeeze your hands, your wrists, your fists, your legs, your belly, your front, your back, your sides, squeeze. And exhale, release. Shake it out. Okay, if you moved your chair, go ahead and move it back. Squat down. So we always want to practice those transitions mindfully. Come to sit in your chair so that you're at the very edge. Find your feet directly underneath you. Drop your arms down by your sides. And now just begin to drop right and drop left so you get some lateral flexion. And as you do that, notice if you pull up on the opposite shoulder. So start to find the range. Notice any tendency to force yourself in the movement. And then we'll come back and we're going to work with a deeper amount of strength to do this work. So come upright, bring your hands to your outer knees, your outer thighs, and push your hands into your legs and your legs simultaneously into your hands. So you feel a firing. We call this a closed chain isometric strength. And now that your legs are very strong, drop your arms by your sides, fire up your arms now in an open chain. So you don't have anything to push into, but imagine you were. Make your arms strong, and now drop down to the side. Lift up to center and drop to the other side. And so notice the difference of moving with strength versus just falling into your movement. Now add one arm overhead, and you won't be able to go too far. Come back to center, reach up, and from strength, begin to stretch. One of the things that can happen is when we lose or we just kind of slacken into the movement, you can just kind of compress the joints there. So when you have the strength or you lift your arm up with nothing to push into, you have to, by default, use your core structure to move. And now come to center. Bring yourself up to neutral. Hands come to your heart. And now rotate right and rotate left. And now you can actually reach one hand and reach the other side. Notice again any tendency to lose your muscular strength. Come to center. Bring your hands to your outer legs, your outer hips again. Push out, squeeze and fire. Make your arms really strong, your core nice and stable. And now begin to reach again from more strength. So you rotate from intrinsic muscular structure instead of force or momentum. Now start to round and reach. Come up to center, round and reach. Now begin to take one arm back behind you onto the chair, and your palm can face up or down, and use that pull to help you extend. Come up, palms can face up now. We know this as a rise. Then dive, hold the back of your chair, strengthen your legs. Come up to center. Now exhale your breath to help you rise and create strength. And inhale, dive and reach forward to the left or the right. So go way over to the side. Exhale, push through your legs, fire through your legs, and rise up. Do that a few more times. So you're waking up the back fascia, you're waking up your rib basket, and your intrinsic core stabilizing muscles. Now come to center, relax your legs, find your seat just directly underneath you, rest your hands in your lap. Close your eyes now, and we just begin to invite and invoke a little bit of a deeper breath now that we are a little more warm and present in the entire circumference of our ribs and our breath. So drop in now and soften your body, your skin, but without collapsing. Relax your belly and inhale, breathe down into your center, breathe wide and full to the sides and back. And then as you exhale, feel a slight push through your legs, through your feet. Without arching your back, rise up from a deep strength, as if somebody was stretching you in two directions. You rise. Relax and feel how your posture just naturally shortens and you become buoyant and wide on your inhalation. On your exhalation, push through your legs, push through your feet. Again, draw in to rise up. Keep your neck free, your jaw soft, your face soft. And then again, relax and inhale your breath. Front, sides, and back. And as you exhale, push, rise, and engage. And then go ahead and take your hands just on your heart, left hand and right hand. Pause there. And so you just take a moment just to acknowledge that our healing is in our own hands. We have that accountability within ourselves to show up for self-care, to invite a deeper breath, to move with presence and self-love. And so remember why you showed up today, your intention, your path of healing. And that healing path does not have an end. It is really an open-ended journey. So may we step onto this journey again together. Release your hands down, let your gaze, open your eyes. All right, so grab your danda, wherever that is, pull it in. And we'll again use the muscular structure so that we do the sit to stand work with more strength. But I'm gonna have you do the first few without very much strength. So just let your muscles and your legs be floppy, shift your weight forward, and then stand up. Okay, now shift your hips back and then sit back down. And so we can do this like 100 times, right? Maybe just up and down, no big deal, sit to stand. But nothing's really changing. We're kind of just going through the motions. And so we want to build our stabilizer muscles and really bring attention to the structure of our body. So come back to a seat. Bring your danda in front of you and squeeze it so that your arms actually engage again through the circumference of your arms. They're very toned. Now shift your weight forward. Imagine that your hands are on your outer legs and your outer hips and push out so they engage. Now without arching your back, just lean forward more and hover so that you don't even stand up. I call this one the honey bucket squat. So like you're hovering over a honey bucket. Pause there. And now push strong through your legs without bending your spine. From your leg strength, lift your hips up an inch and then stand up all the way with that powerful center of your gravity. Now bring your hips back, shift your danda forward. Bend your knees and come to that half squat position. Hover, slowly lower, find your seat, and then come to neutral, come to upright. So you can already feel your legs working in just one instead of going through the motions. Shift your weight forward, strong arms, strong legs, inhale. And today find the hover point, come up just about an inch or so. Pause here. Feel your neck is long rather than short. Push out through your legs so your glutes engage, your hamstrings. Stay here. And now lift your hips an inch or two. And from your hamstring and glute power, rise up also from your core. Good work. Hips back, danda forward, neck long, spine long. Flex at your hips, then bend your knees and hover. Pause. Land slowly, a controlled descent. And now exhale in neutral, long spine. Now we'll add breath here. Come forward. Inhale a full rib breath. Find your hover point, strengthen everything. And exhale, rise to stand. You can even pull your danda in towards you so you feel the engagement, the rise. Shift forward, inhale, hip hinge, knee bend, hover, and exhale, find neutral and strong. Go a little bit quicker. Inhale, forward and hover. Lift your hips an inch and exhale, stand. Switch your grip of your hands. Inhale, hip hinge, knee bend and hover. Land on your chair and exhale, neutral. Keep going like that on your own and start to build or observe any tendencies to shorten in your neck or to go very fast. So today, really practice the opportunity of slowing down and finding the hover to actually more actively engage your muscular structure for movement. We have an open chain strength. We've got closed chain strength. We can pull into our core. We can extend from our core lines out. We've got all these ways of creating power and strength. Go a couple more times, letting this practice, this warm-up here be an information opportunity for yourself. Are you rounding or flexing your spine? Can you find neutral? Self-observation. Do you tend to lean left or right? Are you favoring one leg? Okay, and the next time that you stand up, go ahead and stay up. And set your danda off to the side. From the position of your chair, squat down and move it so that you have the back of your chair. Okay. And once you have the back of your chair, take your hands up to the back, walk your feet out, and come into an L shape. And now again, notice the tendency to just fall or collapse in your shape. Where can you bring more strength and structure? Now let's back out of that a little bit. Come high onto your tiptoes. Push into your chair, almost like you're doing a mild plank. And now that you have that engagement through your arms and through your legs, again, we're building whole body muscular strength. Take your hips back first, then bend your knees, but keep your heels high. Once you find neutral in your back and your spine, straighten your knees and lower your heels. Now push like you're pushing your chair forward, and like someone was holding your hips, stretch back. So the stretch is also strength. We'll do that again. Come high onto your tiptoes. Shift your weight forward towards a mild plank. Full breath in. Keep your heels high, take your hips back, bend your knees, take your belly towards your thighs. And without collapsing in your shoulders, fingers, hands active, thighs back, and heels down. Again, push your chair forward without moving it, and stretch your thighs and your hips back. Neck free and long. Press up and walk in. Shake out through your arms. Nice. And as you shake out through your arms, we'll do some hip rotations now here, which is essential as we warm up through the leg work that we do this with leg strength. So come forward, take your left hand down on the chair and your right hand up to the height of the chair. So we'll take a mild hip hinge to do this. Now bend your right knee and take some hip circles out to the side. And as you do this, the bottom hand is down on the chair so that you get more stability through your trunk. Now just let your leg be floppy and move it around, feel the difference. Okay, now pause and center. Instead of flopping it around, engage your foot, ankle, shin, knee, thigh. Push everything down and now move your leg, and you'll actually build more gains in your range of motion. You can even hold the side of your chair with your right hand. Whatever is comfortable, make sure you're not falling into your shoulder, and you're practicing on the left arm a plank arm, right? So rather than falling, keep pushing. Take big, wide circles internally, externally. You get abduction where your leg moves away, adduction where your leg moves in, and go around and around and around. And now when you go around, kick your leg out and bring it back down. 3 times like that. Kick your leg out and bring it back down. Kick your leg out with strength. Bring your leg down, stand up, hold the edge of the chair. Without kicking it, just begin to swing off to the side. And now you can either keep your hand on the chair or release it, step a little bit farther away, and practice your pendulum. And if you need your balance, you just keep holding onto the chair. And again, instead of flinging your arm and legs in space, squeeze, tone your skin to your muscle to your bone. Move your ribs and move your gaze. So keep your leg really active and strong when you bring it back. Try to go more to the sides and up. Neck free and long. Excellent. Come down. Bring your hands to the chair. Turn your toes out, your heels in, and take a few squats and stand up. Inhale, come straight down, toes out, knees out. Exhale, stand. Inhale, come down. Now pause right here. Push your legs into the ground and stretch them apart so you feel actively that engagement in your legs. And stand up, squeeze your legs in, hug them in. Inhale, push your legs down in a wide isometric strength and stretch. Exhale, pull and squeeze. Inhale, come down. You can take your arms up or out to the sides. And exhale, pull, zip everything in as you rise. Inhale, down, arms wide or to the chair. And exhale, pull in and pull up. You can adjust your legs so you're not doing the exact same movement, and do about 5 more. But again, it's not about speed and falling down into your joints. Go slow enough that you can really feel your muscles build you the range of motion to go lower. And your strength builds you the skill to connect to your core. And last one. Nice. And come forward. Second side. Right hand down on the chair, so you do a plank position in your arm. Left hand comes up. Right hand has a strong base. Lift your left leg up and again make some circles. So practice here, your neck staying long, not pulling up or collapsing. And again, you can practice feeling the difference of just moving your leg, or strengthen as if you had a shrink vacuum on your leg and all the skin tightened to the muscles and the muscles tightened to the bone. That's called intrinsic muscular energy. Go slower, go slower. Internal, external, right? Of course we can pump them out and go really fast, but I want you to actually feel here that you can truly lubricate, hydrate around your hip joint. It's a lot easier to go fast than it is to go slow, and feel the abduction, the adduction, the internal and the external. You can shift directions. Keep your neck free and long. Muscle energy in these component ways was one of the most important skills I learned in my movement practice. I tend to be hypermobile in a lot of ways. Most of us do. We have places that we hypermobilize and then other places that we stiffen. Bring your leg out 3 times, a kick and a rotation. A kick and a rotation. Not kicking by arching, just kick from the strength of your leg structure. Stand up and swing. So we're intentionally building some heat on one standing leg. You can step away a little bit and find your full pendulum. But again, keep the muscles hugging around the bones. That's kind of the hardest practice though. And then again, we'll have a chance just to release it and shake it out. Rotate through your ribs, deepen through your breath. When you bring your leg out to the side, squeeze the muscles. And come down. Give it a little shake, a little bounce. Okay, and we'll add on, so toes out, heels in. Hands come to your chair. Push through your heels. You can even be wider if you'd like, but if you need your sticky mat, that's fine. Push down. Launch up into your right leg. Use the strength of the chair pushing down to help you reach. We're not going to go fast. Fire your muscles as you extend, not into a back bend, but out to the side. Land, toe, heel. We call this squat climbers. Push down and resist. So there's a push-pull as you lower. Press down into your left leg, lift up, and as if your leg weighed 500 pounds, make your leg heavier and stronger. And squat, toe, heel. Reach and launch. Keep going like that. And I'm not having you go slow because I think that you need it to be easier, right? It's not about that. It's about getting the brain-body connection and firing all your muscles to at least 70% of their range today. Firing to 70%. Change your pattern of movement, right? We can go fast. We can go through the motions. We can vinyasa our way through life, but slow it down and squeeze as to bring and pump blood flow to the muscle tissue and make a change there. Last couple of times each side. So you do what you can that brings health and vitality to your body. Yes. And come back to center. Well done, everyone. A little lymphatic bounce. Shake, shake, shake. Get your arms going side to side. Shoulders up. Find a bounce. Let all your tissues now be free. So you let go of the muscular engagement and you shake, shake, shake it out. Shake, shake, shake. Bounce and swing. Good. Awesome. Okay, pick your chair up. So you have to actually squat down and pick your chair up so that the left side of your chair is the top side is the left side. High on the left, low on the right. Okay? Now shift your weight forward so you can come into this half position again. So your left hand now ideally will feel like a chaturanga arm. So bend your left arm, right arm is like a plank. Now balance on your left leg and take your right leg back behind you. Now we practice these steps oftentimes in vinyasas from a plank or a down dog to a step. So leg comes behind you, make it very strong. Now pull your right knee towards your chest, round and flex your spine, and step your foot up to the chair. Okay, now lean forward, pick your leg up from your own strength and bring it back behind you and come into the starting position. Step throughs in vinyasas are the most challenging, but the common tendency is that your leg actually starts to slacken. Pull your right knee towards your chest, pause, and step forward. Right arm will come back now. Turn your palm up and reach behind you. Take your arm overhead, round your spine, pick your leg up, hover, dive down and reach your leg back behind you. Pull your knee towards your chest, push down with your left, step with your right, palm turns up and you reach back. Inhale, arm up. Exhale, arm down, pick your leg up and stretch behind you with engagement. Pause here, inhale without collapsing. Exhale, pull, knee into chest, use your core strength, step, palm comes down and then back. Inhale up, exhale down, again hover and extend. Keep going on your own now, but again find those little pauses where you're using your leg, your hip flexor strength and your core strength. I promise you it's much easier just to fling and flail your way through. And we're not making it challenging just to be challenging. The reason for the challenge is to inform your brain of how to move with more muscular structure because it creates more safety and it'll actually bring you into more flexibility and more range of motion over time. And if you want to try it, just kind of flinging through, you can feel the difference. And what happens for me is I just move right into my tendency of hyperflexibility. Now you don't have to do that and then you are not bypassing your core strength, your hip strength, and your mind power. Couple more rounds. Use your left hand on the chair to help create that active reach. And so again, your reach, your stretch is also strength. Maybe some of you know this as organic energy, right? So you reach fully out. Now come into the down position where your right leg is back. Pause here. Externally rotate your right leg. Both hands can come on the chair now to the base. Externally rotate your leg and pulse it up and down. And as you pulse your leg up, squeeze, and as you lower it, squeeze. Pulse and squeeze. Now take your leg, if you can, a little bit more forward, up and down, maybe even a little bit more forward. And it doesn't matter how high it is. Just try moving your leg in space with a squeeze and a pulse. A squeeze and a pulse. Push down into the chair so you activate your core. Neck stays free and long. Last 3, 2, 1. Bring your leg back to center. Meet left next to right. Squat down. Let your arms come free. Inhale, stand up, full stretch. Squeeze your arms. And exhale, relax and shake it out. Okay. You can flip your chair around. So just go bloop, from strong, active core, active back. Okay. Hip hinge, fold forward and find starting position. Right arm like a chaturanga, left arm like a plank. Stand on your right leg, left leg back. Squeeze. Inhale. Exhale, knee towards chest, round your spine. Push through the right to lift and step. Left arm comes down, palm open and overhead. Inhale. Exhale, dive down, hover your leg. And from power, strength, reach and extend. Pull, round, hover, and step. Inhale. Exhale, dive, hover, and extend. So go like that for those rounds, but pause and take your time. When I work with my clients, one of the things that we work with more often than not is tendency. So we're not actually looking for the right exact posture or the correct perfect movement. It's really about being able to feel into your own self those places of tendency. Do you tend to move really fast and bypass your strength? Do you tend to collapse? Do you tend to use more of your left side or your right side? Right? Do you tend to shorten in your neck? Or instead, can you build the strength ratio, fire your muscles at that 70% range, and then learn to move with more ease and precision, right? That takes time and skill. But that's the map of movement therapy and movement rehab as we teach it. Because it's all about self-inquiry and self-awareness, not correct posture. There is no one exact perfect posture. That's a myth. Go a couple more times slowly, building the skill, building your awareness, yes. And the next time that you find your way down, stay down, left leg back, take both hands down flat onto the chair, externally rotate your left leg like a half moon leg, and now pulse and lower, pulse and lower. Again, your leg could be down, or if you need a little bit more support, you could come upright, pulse and lower, pulse and lower. But the position that we're in actually takes the bend out of our back, so there will be less of a tendency to arch and more of an opportunity to strengthen the hip and hamstring and glute complex. Push into your chair base. Keep your neck long and free. Lift and squeeze, lift and squeeze. Last 3, 2, on 1, bring your leg down, face forward, hands come off the chair, squat, and inhale, stand, stretch up, squeeze your hands, your fists, everything, and exhale, let it go and shake it out. Nice. Bounce and shake. Okay, last standing movement here. So move your chair so that the back is facing, the short part is facing you, the back is high. And now we'll work into bubble popping, but with a little bit more strength. So imagine right now that your arms, like you just put on like a big weighted suit and your body actually can feel heavier. So lift your arms up and like you had weights on the top of your arms, make your arms really heavy and squeeze your legs. And now start to pop as if you were in slow motion. And the bubbles are a little bit more difficult to pop. They take more strength so that the rotation and the movement find a reach and incorporate all the work you did today with the strength when you step behind, when you reach up. And come to center facing forward. Take your arms out and now you've got weighted balls on the sides, and bounce the balls at different heights and make them very heavy. So your arms pull back and whoa, the ball goes behind you and it's going a little bit quicker. Move your legs and now the ball goes to the wall behind you. Time it, so 1 arm at a time. Move forward and back now. It's basically like you're catching and throwing in slow motion. Flex and extend your spine, move your legs. And now go back to the bubble popping, get more reach. Feel the difference between catching and throwing and popping. Bubbles to the side, down below. And they take a little bit more effort because as you try to pop them, they almost bounce back. So you've got to reach farther. Rotate around and slowly come to center. Give yourself the last little bounce and shake here. And find your feet just right underneath you. Close your eyes. Sense and scan inward how you've moved, strengthened, and stabilized so many areas and ranges of your body. Feel the blood flowing, your aliveness, your prana here. And go ahead and open your eyes, squat down to grab your blanket, and you can place it on the floor. To get to the earth, we squat to kneel, walk your hands forward, and swing your legs up the chair. An option for today is to bring your feet to the edge of the chair and take a supported Supta Baddha Konasana, so you can get a mild stretch through your inner thighs. Or just take your legs up the chair to relax here for a mild Viparita Karani. And once you find the position that you'd like to be in, just go ahead and close your eyes, drop down and in to the space of yourself. May we remember that our strength is truly our ally. That this embrace, this great muscular hug, reminds us of our resilience, our stability, our boundaries. And that it is from the places inside of ourselves that feel strong and connected and hugged and networked that we can more fully and actively, with presence, be awake in our lives. Take one more full breath in here. And a nice long open mouth exhale. And then from whatever position you're in, just begin to rub your hands, create some friction. Get your hands going nice and actively. And then feel anywhere on your body, your head, your heart, your center, where you'd like to place this warm, healing energy intentionally. So place your hands and breathe that in. And then go ahead, please, and roll over to the side. Mindfully come up to sit in your chair or kneeling.